Hey, Pishkin. Hello, welcome to Hot Chicken Happy Hour at Cedarwoods Farm. Carl and I hope you are well and cool and ready for a summertime refresher. This is a great cocktail for a day like this. So we are going to make sangrias, and we're gonna mix it up a little bit. We're not using red wine, which is the traditional way to make sangria, but I thought this would be an easy thing, because it is so easy to make, to whip up this morning, and it's just been in the fridge all day, and that way I just had to carry a few things instead of like 10 different bottles up here. So, but I'm gonna explain it to you so you'll know exactly how to recreate this drink. All right, so Carl, let's get the cord straightened out. You sit there. All right, so a little bit about about the history. Carl, no. So this drink dates back to 200 BC, because basically when the Romans came over and conquered Spain, Carl is in a mood today. They planted these these vineyards with red grapes, and they loved the wine so much, this red wine, and they called it Sangria, which literally means bloodletting in Spanish, which I thought was kind of wild. But anyway, 200 BC, it didn't come to the U.S. as an iced drink until like the 1940s, but really when it became a like world icon drink, and especially in the U.S., was at the 1964 World, what's it called? The World Fair, the 1964 World Fair, which was in New York City. And they had the Spanish area section was giving out cups of this wonderful red wine punch, and everybody loved it. They were like, oh my gosh, what is this? And it was sangria. So anyway, there's just a little bit about that. Now, the really cool thing about this drink that makes me love it, we're a mess up here today, can you tell? Is that it is so flexible. I mean, you really cannot mess this up. It is very customizable depending on what your tastes are. Everything from the kind of wine you use, to the kinds of fruits you put in it, to the other liqueurs you put in it. It is just completely all up to you. And like I said, you can't mess it up. And no matter how you do it, it's going to be beautiful. Isn't that pretty? Just looks like summer. So, like I said, the traditional way to do this, and I like to do this in the winter because it's a little heavier, but that is to use a red wine. So, the original recipe is red wine and fruit, basically, and then a lot of times they would add brandy to it. I prefer, just because in general I prefer a white wine. I like dry whites. What we're using today is a rosé because I thought that's the ultimate summertime wine. But you want it to be, in my opinion, you want it to be a dry wine because you're adding all this, sugary fruit. You're adding, like, this has got honey in it. It's got apple brandy and, these sweet liqueurs. So unless you just want a big sugar bomb and that's, what you're into, I would go with a dry white. Sauvignon Blanc is usually what I would use, or Pinot Grigio. Like I said, this is rosé. That is always good. And in the winter, that's when I like to do a red, and add fruit, just like we're doing today, only you would use a red wine. Okay, so a little bit else about what is in here, because it is more than just the bottle of rosé. I put, I guess, a half a cup of orange juice, and I had an orange, so I just cut that up and threw it in. It's got a couple slices of lemon, and then I also squeezed a little bit, so it's got some lemon juice. It's got half an apple. Something that's really good in sangria is strawberries, because they're softer. Raspberries are great. I threw in a handful of blueberries, but that is mostly just for looks, because blueberries, unless you muddle them, you're not going to get any actual taste out of that. It's just for looks. Grapefruit would be good. Pineapple would be good. Like I said, you just can't go wrong. Mango, peaches, heck, watermelon, anything would work. Okay? Now, if you want to add additional liquor besides your bottle of wine, you would want to do gin or vodka. Okay? We're doing vodka because we just had gin yesterday. I was just thinking about this. So Sunday we were in Mexico with our tequila drink. Yesterday, Monday, we were in Italy with our Aperol Sour, and today we're in Spain with our Sangria. So we are getting around with chicken happy hour. But anyway, vodka, I put in 3/4 a cup of vodka. It's if you do gin, you know how I feel about gin, but I like it. But it's a little more bitter than the vodka, so I thought the vodka would just be a little smoother. And what else? I put in just a splash of apple brandy, just because I did the half an apple. I thought that was good, and it was the only kind of brandy I had. I put in a splash of orange liqueur. I put in a splash of raspberry liqueur. It kind of reminded me of making hooch, and in college when everybody just brought whatever they had and you just poured it all in, and yeah, that's kind of what it is on a more refined level. And then let me see if there's anything I'm leaving out. I mentioned honey earlier. The recipe I was using, which actually was a combination of like 3 different ones, was it called for simple syrup, and I had some honey that a good friend just gave me over the weekend, that because her neighbor has honeybees, and it is this just fantastic clover honey. It's really light, and so I don't know, it's a personal thing with me. Whenever I can use a natural sweetener like that, I much prefer that over refined sugar. So I try to stay away from simple syrup. I know it's used in like every cocktail practically, but if there's anything else I can use that will sweeten naturally, I'll do it. So that's why I brought this spoon. I want to make sure the honey doesn't like settle on the bottom, but honey is great, I think. One other thing I was talking about the different kinds of wines you can use, which is basically anything. but you want to use a wine that you would be good drinking by yourself, or not by yourself, by itself. Don't drink by yourself unless you got a bunch of chickens. Yeah, a wine that you would buy and have it with dinner or whatever. Don't go super cheap. You don't have to get the most expensive thing, but any wine that you like already is going to do great for this recipe. Something else about this is such a good thing. It's another reason I wanted to do it. It's why I thought of it when I got up this morning and heard the forecast. This is such a great thing to have if you're having a cookout, a barbecue, a pool party, anything like that when it's really hot, because you can make a pitcher or 4 or 5 or 10 of this beforehand, like even the night before your party. In fact, it's better because it needs time for this to all come together and be one. So it's such a good thing to be able to pull out and have your little things on the side, which I'm going to show you. Have your wine glasses set up, when your guests arrive, and you're good to go. And that way you're not in the kitchen all night mixing drinks or, getting people all this different stuff. Because it's, if you like wine, you're going to like this. Everybody likes this. Even some people who don't like wine like this. So it's just a good party trick to be able to pull out pictures of this, and then that way it gets you out having fun at the party, right? Okay, so like I said, I did this morning because I didn't think of it last night. But you can do it. You want it to be chilling in the fridge at least 2 hours. This, I wouldn't do it. You're not going to get the happy effect. It's just not going to be as good if you just throw it together and serve it. It needs at least 2 hours, preferably 6, 8, 12. I wouldn't go much over that because it loses its freshness, I think. Fruit after a while kind of gets yucky. So I wouldn't go over 12 hours, but I guess that's a personal preference as well. So when you are ready to serve this, you want to have, or in the summer anyway, just because it's so abundant right now, mint. And I think I've also got some basil. Yeah, basil in here. You want to wait until you're ready to serve your drink, because I don't know if you can see this, but it's already starting to turn. So you would certainly not want to put anything like that in, when you first make this, because it's going to be gross by the time you're ready to serve it. So, and I think if you put it in like the night before, it might be overpowering too. So you just want to get a little taste of it. Plus it's pretty. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. You're going to put this in a wine glass with ice, assuming mine hasn't melted. I was afraid of that. Perfect. All right. Now, here's the trick. Make sure you stir. You want to fill your glass only about half full. And I'm really wanting some fruit in here because it's prettier. Don't fill your glass all the way up, and the reason is because we're going to top it with sparkling water. Okay, any just plain old, doesn't have to be flavored. Water is fine. Sparkling water, it's just carbonated. I have grown partial to these flavored sparkling waters. I'm not partial to a brand necessarily. I just like them because it's carbonated water with natural flavorings, no calories, whatever. So this one is orange and grapefruit, which I thought would go well with this kind of thing. And you're going to add that. That's why you didn't fill it all the way with your sangria or with your wine. Look how pretty that is. Can't you just see drinking that by the pool or at the barbecue? It's about to go up my nose. Well, that is a big old wine glass. That is wonderful. Oh, I like it. I don't know why I haven't been fixing these all summer. Very nice. It's just so pretty, even though my mint is turning. So, isn't that cool? A sangria. This is like a two-handed drink. All right. What else? I'm going to show you all the chickens are over there around the water dish. One thing I wanted to tell you, and I would show you, but let me tell you what's happened with these pigeons. First of all, the dove-y pigeons are doing fine. They're still in the one room. I just showed you them yesterday. But the other two, the fancy pigeons, have gone up into the barn, like in the far corner, and we think they are nesting already. They are fast workers. So isn't that cool? We're gonna have a barn full of pigeons. I don't know what we're thinking, but anyway, I thought that was neat. These pigeons, it's a little shocking how I told you they mate for life, but they're so affectionate, they're so sweet to each other, they feed each other and preen each other, and when you're used to chickens, it's a little different. There's not much romance, so these pigeons are just, it's so refreshing how much they just love each other. So anyway, we're gonna have babies soon, we think. And boy, that may be all I've got today, y'all, because it's about 105, I think. But yeah, I wanted to get this in. Like I said, great party trick, because everybody loves it and it's easy. You can do it beforehand. So try it this weekend. And that's probably when my next video will be, is this weekend. Thank you so much for joining. Stay well. Cheers. Alrighty. Oh, I'll show you these chickens. One of them's standing on a bread bag. So hot. All right.